Okay, I think we're live.
Great.
We'll see how this goes. All right, if everyone could just go ahead and mute themselves, and then I think we'll get started. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, I think we're live.
Great.
We'll see how this goes. All right, if everyone could just go ahead and mute themselves, and then I think okay. Let's see, now I'm sharing myself. All right, let's get started. Welcome everyone to our class this evening. We were hoping to be on Facebook, but it looks like we're gonna go ahead and do it to YouTube tonight. So I'll have to get that link over on our Linden Family History Center page. But we'd like to welcome everyone who's here. And I've put the handout in the chat, but I will do it at the very end in case you can't see that for those of you that are on our Zoom meeting tonight. So this is going to be about the ins and outs of FindAGrave, and I'm going to share tips to help you get the most out of FindAGrave. And I'd love to hear too how you've used it and the things that you found, and maybe some things that you aren't quite familiar with or that you need help with. So we're going to look into that at the end. So let's go ahead and get started. So just for fun, I just pulled up a couple graves. I thought this was kind of a fun time to do this since it's close to Halloween. So I found one that said, okay, joke's over, let me out now. I don't know, I guess that's really on a tombstone. This one says he loved bacon. Oh, and his wife and kids too. This one says, raised 4 beautiful daughters with only 1 bathroom, and still there was love. And then one more. I've got to move my screen. Says, bury him deep. So I thought those were just kind of some fun tombstones that you can come across sometimes, and perfect for this time of year. Okay, just a little background. First of all, for those of you who don't know, this FindAGrave was created by Jim Tipton in 1995. So that's 25 years ago. And he just had this hobby. He was looking for celebrity graves. So he thought that'd be fun. And he looked into, to see if there was a website, and there wasn't a website. So he just decided to create one. And so that was kind of fun for him. But then genealogists thought, well, this is really cool because, this could be for our ancestors too. And so it got really popular, as most of you know. And in 2013, Ancestry bought it. And what's really nice, it is free to use, but there's only one downside, is that you have to put up with the ads. And as you see my screenshot, you'll see all the ads that go on. So you have to just try to put those out of your mind and not worry about those ads that come up. But it is free, so that's awesome. And it's such a great tool for us for finding our ancestors. So first off, when you come to FindAGrave, I'm just going to go over some basic things, and then we'll get into some more tips. And this is the home page, and it's changed over time. I know when I've used it before, it's looked a little different. And so this is just where you can look for memorials right here, cemeteries, famous people, and to contribute. And then if you haven't ever registered for FindAGrave, you're going to do that up here in the right-hand corner. And then you can just fill this out and search, either by the first and last name with the middle name or not, the cemetery location. If you know the memorial ID, you can put it in there. If you know the contributor ID, you can put that in, the spouse and children, just a lot of different ways to search. And it's nice down here on the bottom too, you can check these if you want to do famous, or, check or uncheck these boxes as well. So it gives you a lot of different options for searching. And sometimes you need to search even like just the maiden name to find those ancestors, that got married, but their maiden name would be different. And it's interesting though, I noticed when I was searching yesterday and today that the maiden name's actually a default. It comes up no matter what. So that's nice that does. Okay, so first of all, when I look at FindAGrave, this is family search. This is a details page on one of my ancestors. And I like to just go, when I see this on family search or even on ancestry, you can just, this is a source that's attached, and you can just click on this link right here and you can go right to the grave. So if I'm in family search or ancestry, I like to just click there and go right to it, which is nice when someone saved the source to your ancestor. So this is my ancestor, Paisley Bryant George. He's my grandfather. I was like 4 when he passed away, so I never really got to know him. But this is his grave on FindAGrave. And what I really like, so this is, I'm just going to be telling you some tips. And so what's really great is when you come and find one of your ancestors, a really good tip is to search the cemetery for the surname. And I love how easy FindAGrave does this. Over here on the right, you see where the arrow, it says Seymour George Memorials in East Mount Zion Methodist Cemetery. So that's where my grandfather's born. And all you have to do is click on that to find all the other Georges. And you know, if it's in that cemetery, they're probably related. So as I click on that, you can see that there's 14 matches that have the surname George. So, I said, here's this include the maiden name. And so that it's like a default, I feel like, when you're doing the searches. So there's 14 matches, which is exciting. This is my grandma. So that's my grandpa Paisley's wife. And then these are some other Georges that are related to us. And so then you have this option here about clicking this relevance. And what that is you can sort this. So if you want to only look like the names, like, this is only 14, so not very many, but maybe if it was a Smith or, like a more common surname, you might have so many that maybe you want to arrange them differently. So this relevance right here just gives you options to go A to Z or Z to A, or in any of those options there. So I just wanted to show you that to you really quick. And another thing you can do, so back over here, you can also do the search by county, which this is really, I have a lot of my George ancestors did live in Holmes County, Florida, and that's where that East Zion cemetery is that I was showing you on the previous page. And so now if I search for just the county for all the Georges, then I come up with 33 matches. And as you can see over here on the right, so that was East Mount Zion. And so now I'm getting all the other cemeteries where the Georges were buried. My Bonnie George, Buford George. And so I'm just getting all the different cemeteries in that same county. So I love that because it's a quick way to do a search for the whole county. And you can do the same thing for the state, but if you do a state, it may not be as much, might not be as close to your ancestors. They could be too, but just a way to do the different cemeteries and the county. I love that. I think it's a great way to search. And also you can search the cemetery. I really like on FindAGrave, you can search the cemetery by maiden or married name. And so this is my grandma, Bessie Register George. So Register was her maiden name. And so over here, again, I can just quickly, she's buried in the East Mount Zion Methodist Cemetery. I can quickly just click on the register right here, and then I can see all of the registers that are in that cemetery. And I didn't show you back there on the Holmes County. This is where you would just click really quick to see everybody in the county. And so that's a really good way to find your other ancestors. But I love this on the maiden name, because if I click register and go to the maiden name, then what I love about this is I could possibly, in the South, I have a really hard time finding a lot of times the marriages. And so this is great because these are the maiden names, and then this is like Mary Louise Register. So this would be her married name. So that would help me go back and find her spouse, because then at least I know her last name, and then that gives me a clue to find her spouse. So I love that you can do that too with the maiden name as well, and so easy from the previous page. That's what's really great about this. Okay, so, and this one has like 88 matches. So there's a lot of registers in that county with that same, with that same maiden name. Okay, so another tip is to make sure to become a contributor so that you can have the full access or so that you can, what's the word I'm trying to find? So you can get all the benefits from being a member of FindAGrave. And this tells you what it is. So if you contribute, if you become a contributor, you can add memorials yourself, you can upload pictures, you can transcribe photos, you can go and do photo requests, suggested edits, and also upload spreadsheets. So what you need to do that is just make sure to register for an account over here on the top right. Right now I'm logged in over here, but if you haven't, it just says to register. So if you need to do that, go ahead and do that. And then right here in the middle is how you would suggest edits. So we're just going to do an edit. I was looking at my grandma's grave and I realized that she didn't have information about where she was born or where she lived. So I thought, okay, let's just do this really quick. And it's nice, you can just type it in and then you can just save it. And then what happens is it will actually go to the person that manages this grave. So there's a manager for each of the graves, those that have added it and that manage it. And so you come down to the bottom and then you'll see at the bottom that this is the one that manages this particular headstone. It's Alton and Ludonia. And what you can do is just click on them and then you can actually learn about them. Like they've been doing this for 12 years and 10 months and 24 days. And they have this website that you can actually go to. And then it just tells a little bit about them, how they live in Stark, Florida. They have a special hobby of visiting cemeteries and taking photos. And so it tells that they'll delete, correct, add to, or transfer if you let them know. And they said their goal is to transfer any family member or person to someone that's a family or knew them and will remember them. So I think that's really neat. Just before we got started, I was talking to Dean and he was saying that he would like to get one transferred to him and he's having a hard time with that. So when we get done with this, we're gonna look into that and see what we can figure out. And it might just be that he'll need to contact FindAGrave, because we were saying, what if this person had passed away, then, what happens to that? So, but I thought this was really neat. So this couple has added over 58,000 memorials, which is amazing. And they manage 57,000. So I don't know. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how many, edits that they get from people, but it might be hard to keep up with that many. So, so anyway, so I just put that in to edit, to edit her birth and her death place. And I got an email. This is the email. You just receive an email and it said that it was accepted. So it came pretty quick within just a few minutes. So that was nice. And then voila, here it is. So they went ahead and added the place that she was born and also where she died. If you guys can make sure that you're on mute, that would be great. I hear someone typing. All right. Okay, so anyway, that was exciting just to get that edited. Thought that was great. Okay, so from this screen, and this is the same on everyone, you can add photos, request photos. You can share your grave, and what's really nice is you can share it easily on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, or an email. And then you can also save to. See my little arrows down there. So you can save it to Ancestry, Virtual Cemetery, copy to a clipboard, or print it too. So let's go over that really quick. First thing is that you can create your own virtual cemeteries. And I don't know how many of you have done this, but it's easier to find your ancestors when you do this. And something that I'm going to start doing, I'm guilty of not doing that yet, but I think I'm going to do that, because then if I want to go and look at their grave really quick or see who's been there, then I can do that a lot faster. So it's really easy. When you click on this, then it just says that you can save that grave, the memorial, I guess I shouldn't call it a grave, memorial, to a virtual cemetery. And you can have virtual cemeteries, whatever virtual cemetery you would like. Just some ideas are like, you could have all your ancestors that maybe served in the Civil War in a virtual cemetery. Your surnames, like here's my George ancestors, you could have that in a virtual cemetery. You could have maybe immigrants from other countries, in a virtual cemetery. So just whatever you would like, just so it's easier to go back and see all those at once. So just interesting way to save all your ancestors in specific cemeteries. So I thought that was interesting. All right, the other thing you can do is save to Ancestry. So you would just click on the Ancestry, and then it'll just pop up and ask you who you want to save it to. And it'll just save it to them just with a little click of the button. So I love that Ancestry will do that too. If you search on Ancestry, you can save it easily that way too. But just if you were on FindAGrave searching, maybe you're doing that surname search and you come across someone, then you can just save it quickly too without going to Ancestry. So just a nice way. Okay, so the next thing was you could save it to the clipboard. So what it does is it just makes a copy. And so it looks like this. And I just pasted this into a Word or a Page document so that you could have it in that format. I don't think it looks really cute, but it does have all the information. So that's if you want to save it to the clipboard. The next thing is if you just want to print it. So you would just bring up that same Save To, and then you could just print it. And I like this. I like the way this comes out, and you can print this a lot better than just the clipboard, but and then maybe you could just save it this way if you like, but I like the way this comes out. It looks really nice if you want to share that or send it to someone. I don't know how much we print out anymore, but I liked that better. Okay, so let's talk about how you can add photos. And a couple things, you would just, when you're on a site, you would just click right there. A couple things just to remember: you can only upload 5 photos per memorial. There can only be a total of 20 photos. Photos that are larger than 8 megabytes will be optimized and then reduced. Click on any photo to look through all of the photos. And then sometimes there's obituaries and newspaper articles, etc. And let me just look really quick. Oh, someone asked if you could share your virtual cemetery. That's a good question. Maybe that's something we could look at, unless someone has the, or maybe we'll look at that at the end. Why don't we do that? Yeah, any questions that you have, go ahead and put them in here, and then we'll look at those at the end and see if we can. There's a really good help section I'm going to show you at the end, and we'll see if we can find, look at it that way. Okay, does that sound okay? I know you're all on mute. Yeah, we'll just do that. Okay, so anyway, that's just some things to remember, that you can only do like 5. Oh man. Uh-oh. Okay, something happened. Hold on. This happens to me sometimes. Okay, let me stop sharing really quick. I'm not sure what happens. Okay. Okay, I've just had a technical problem. Hold on a minute. All right, let me stop sharing again. I'm not sure what happened. Okay. I'm not sure why. Okay, let me go over there and see what's going on. Why am I? Okay. Sorry. Man, I don't know why sometimes. All right, let's see. Sorry about that. Okay, we'll see if this works now. All right, let me see if it's gonna work. All right, I don't know what happened. Okay, I think we're back. Can everybody see my screen? Okay, so here's just the photos. And then let's go to the next one. So one thing to note that if you are going to do photos, what they recommend is that you actually go into your profile and edit that. And you want to give permission to use your photos. And so you just put it in this bio information at the bottom. And then if you want to use someone's photo, then it would be great if you actually and sent them an email, which you can do, which you can find. So, and you go to your profile up here, and then that's the bio information there at the bottom. Okay, so now if you want to request a photo, it's really easy. I know this is like probably, you just go here to the request, and then that'll come up and it'll just say, you know, you'll just put that you want a photo, and then it says, what's really fun, it tells you how many volunteers are within 10 miles of your requested photo location. So that's kind of fun to see that there's a lot of people that are volunteering. And then 972 volunteers are within 50 miles. So that's a lot of volunteers that are there. And what they do, what FindAGrave does is they choose 10 of the volunteers and just one will go and fulfill it for you. And then make sure that you do the send request at the bottom. Okay, another option that you can have is you can actually leave flowers right here. And a good thing the reason why you want to do that is because you want to leave a trail of where you have been. And so that just helps keep track of where you've been. And also sometimes you can find cousins. You might find some flowers that someone else has left, and it could be a cousin of someone you're related to, and you could reach out to them and get to know them. So I just clicked on the flowers. This was a Don Atwell that left flowers on one of my ancestors' graves. So someone I could contact, and then you can just click on leave a flower. And then when you do that, it comes up with these different flowers that you can choose to leave. But like I said, it could be that this could be a living relative that you connect with. So really, really fun way to leave flowers. Okay, so what you want to do is, if you want to become a volunteer photographer, you would just come into your account settings, and you get to that by clicking on your name over on the right-hand top side, and then you would just go to photo volunteer on the left, and then this comes up and you just check that you would like to be a photo volunteer and to email me with new photo request. And then you can decide, you can put your zip code, and then you can decide how many miles you're willing to drive. So that's nice. And if you want to, I just put 10, but you can drive further than that if you would like to help someone out. And then what happens as soon as you become a volunteer, you're going to get this little number up here on the camera saying that there's photo requests. And then you can actually look through and see which ones you want. Sometimes, I don't know how many of you have taken photos at graveyards, but then there's these problems. Sometimes they can't, you know, the headstone's not there, and sometimes they can't find it. So it'll say that there's problems. I don't know why those don't go away. We should ask FindAGrave that if someone's tried. You know, you don't want to go spend the time walking around doing that. And what's nice is when you have actually put up a photo, then you'll a lot of times get this thank you. So that's really nice that they thank you for doing those. Okay, so, and when you, I don't know how many of you have used the app, but when you take the photo, you want to use the app. Well, it's a lot easier, I would think, to use the app. And so what you can do is this is the landing page for the app. And then you can just look, if you've claimed those photos like I showed in the other, then you can look right here at your photo claims. And then this shows a couple that I just picked just for this example. And so I can go to that cemetery and then try to take those photos. Another thing you can do right from your app is transcribe. And so maybe you're standing in line and you're kind of bored and you're like, well, let me just look at my app and see if I can, if there's any photos that need transcription. And they're really hard. I should have probably pulled up one. They're not easy to look at. One was German that I saw, but down here on the bottom is the transcribe. So you can click on that and see if there's any headstones that need transcription. And then you can also just search. So this looks a lot like the web page. I love it when they try to make the apps look the same as the website. So you can just do a search right on this little, down at the very bottom. I know this is a little bit small, but you can do a search there and then it'll come up to, if you're running around. So maybe you're searching and out researching and on location and you want to see who's buried in that cemetery. And if it's one of your ancestors, then you can just do the search right there too, which is really nice. It really works good. I like the app a lot. You can also transcribe from your computer. So there's also up here actually, the little, I guess that's a pencil and a paper. And right now when I brought that up, it says there's no photos to transcribe at this time, but to try again later. Okay, so now I wanted to just talk about cemetery location and map. So the one thing to note with FindAGrave is all the locations are current. So there's no historical places. You know, they don't like have an historical map and show you like current and historical, but all of them are current. And so, but what you can do is use the map feature to find a corresponding current place that matches to your historical place. So you would just need to zoom in and see if you can figure out about where they were. And then you might be able to see a grave, you know, a cemetery that's closest to that. So what you would do to do that is you can actually come to the cemeteries. So we've been talking about memorials and contribute, but you can come right to the cemeteries page and you can either put the cemetery name in or the location and search by that. And then interesting too, one other thing you can do with FindAGrave is if you are out somewhere and the cemetery that you looking at it's not even on FindAGrave, then you can actually add a cemetery. So that's where you would do it too. So if you're out just on the cemetery page, and then you can also browse by location. And then right down here, and we'll go live in a minute on this so we can show this better, but there's the map view down here that shows all the cemeteries that's on FindAGrave. Not all the cemeteries, you might find one that's not. And then this right here will just list. It's just going to list when you click on here and search, it'll just provide a list instead of the map right there. And then one other thing, I don't know how many of you have put favorite cemeteries. I guess if there's just one that you really like and that you have a lot of your ancestors in, or maybe it's just, you know, sometimes there's cemeteries that only have a particular family. It's just a family cemetery. So you could make that a favorite. I don't know. After we get done, I'd love to hear all your comments on things like that. If you have favorite cemeteries. I was thinking about one, I don't know how many of you watched Phantom of the Opera, but I like the old cemeteries that you know, they're all above ground. I just think those are cool looking. I love going that. We went to Louisiana and that's what I wanted to go see was that cemetery. So I'm a little weird maybe. Okay, so to add a favorite cemetery, to find that you just are on like the cemetery page and then you can add a favorite right there. And then also if you go to a cemetery, you can just search just that cemetery too. If you know where they lived or if you're just looking around for someone, you can go right to the cemetery and then search. And then you can also contribute, you know, a memorial, upload a headstone. So you can always do that contribution. Okay, so on this one too, you can actually just search the map for cemeteries. So I was looking at this a little while ago and I realized that my grandfather that died in California, FindAGrave doesn't have him, and I was really shocked. His father was born in North Hollywood, a cemetery there. And I was just so surprised that he's not there. So I think I'm going to go make a trip and see if I can find him. But so what you can do is you can just put in a place, you know, Los Angeles County, California, and then this brings up the cemeteries, and then you can, you know, zoom in, you can see the streets and everything, and then you can see the different cemeteries. Like I said, we'll do that in a minute live if you'd like to see that, but just a way to search to try to figure out maybe where they were buried. Okay, so another thing you can do is you can add parents to a memorial page. So I was looking at my dad. This is my dad's page. And I realized that he doesn't have his mother or his father. And so you can go and add the parents to that page. And what you're going to do is, this is his mother, Hulda Bergquist. And what you want to do is get her memorial ID. So that's the easiest way to add. Well, that's, I guess, the only way to add is you're just going to add the memorial ID. So, and then, so to do that though, then you have to go back. So you'd go back to my dad's page and put suggest edits. So when I go to suggest edits, it does have the place to add the father and mother. And so I can just go ahead and put in his mother's memorial ID. And it's interesting because as soon as you put that in, then that's her right there. But it doesn't do it automatically. Somebody has to, the manager has to approve it. So, and then you'd save the suggestion. So I went back in after and I said, okay, so what does this look like? You know, because this time I didn't really receive an email saying that I had submitted it. And so this just shows that I suggested that that's the mother. But pretty soon I got an email that said it had been approved. So it was pretty quick. Let's see. So yeah, we're about to the end and then we can go live. So this is, I just wanted to share about, I feel like FindAGrave's done really good. And I don't know if it was the same before Ancestry took over. They've probably made it better, but you can always, any page that you're on, you can find tutorials and help at the bottom of each page. So there's the help, you know, you just scroll down to the very bottom and then there's the tutorials. And so the tutorials, they're really nice. There was like 28 of them. If you click on that tutorials, and they're like less than a minute. So I love that because they're just a quick tip on, you know, what you can do. It's not, I'm sure it's not everything, but it was really good. And then here's the help. The help, I looked at a couple items I had questions about, and that's really good. They've done a good job on the help and helping you find what you're missing. Okay, so let's, I was just going to maybe show you the profile and count if you would like, but maybe we'll just go live. Hopefully this will work. Okay. All right, so let's go to FindAGrave. I was going to show the account and then we'll go over those questions that you had. So to get to your account, you click on the right-hand side and here's the profile. And so this just tells me how long I've been, my FindAGrave ID, things that I've done here, my virtual cemeteries and things like that. And then you can go to your account And this is just the general. You can change the password. There's your email. One thing that you can do is you can actually add custom flowers if you would like. And another thing that you want to make sure is that you're getting the notifications. So email me about memorial transfers. And that might be a reason why maybe that one dean that you were talking about, maybe they're not getting the email, which hopefully they would be if they manage them. But anyway, so you'd want these notifications on if you would like to receive messages or any of those things. And then there's just site preferences. If you don't like the dark theme, you can change to these other ones. And last thing is just my memorials. So that would be the memorials that you own yourself, that you manage. So let's go to those questions. And if y'all want to just come off mute. And I don't know if I can see this. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and come off mute? What were the questions that we had? I can't see them in the chat anymore. I don't know why.
I asked about sharing your virtual cemetery. And
okay, let me
yeah, that was.
Let me see. Should we see if it says anything about that? Does anybody know?
Sure.
Who's on? Does anybody know? Yeah, I know that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't, let's see, do we see it there? I don't see it there.
No, I don't see the term share on there.
Okay, what if we go to a virtual cemetery? Does that, let me see, I'd probably need to go to it. Account or my profile. Okay. So you can add. See if it's condensed less. Yeah, I don't think so, but that's something that you could also contact them. See if we went to one and see. Yeah, I guess not, huh? That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I requested a photo for my grandmother once and found out that she has an unmarked grave. So that was unfortunate.
Oh, that is. I guess, where's that at?
I was in Florida.
Okay.
Lakeland, Florida.
So I guess you could put one on, right?
I guess I could get a picture and put it on, maybe, yeah.
Oh yeah, you could put a photo.
Picture of the cemetery, at least.
Yeah, I know that sometimes people add headstones, right?
Okay, just a photo of her in a memorial. That would be good. I could do that.
Yeah, you can do that. Put the photo. I just say I know sometimes people go and add a headstone if you ever want to. I know it's probably expensive, but
get all of your cousins to go in on it with you.
There you go. Did you do that?
Sure.
I heard someone recently who did that.
Oh, that's a good idea.
They wanted to add, well, they wanted to replace a very old one that was so worn out you couldn't read it anymore.
Oh,
So they sent an email to all the cousins and everyone pitched in and got a new one.
That's great. I know. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, sad. It's sad not to have the grave marked.
Yeah. I know that is hard. Yeah, I guess as long as you know where it is, right?
Right.
That you could put the headstone. Yeah, I've heard of people doing that. So was there another question?
I have a question.
Okay.
So 3 or 4 weeks ago, we visited the Beaver Cemetery.
Okay.
And my grandmother, who's passed away, has an infant baby brother there at the cemetery. And so I took a picture of the headstone. It's just a tiny little stone. And then I noticed on the FindAGrave memorial that the baby's father is listed as George Wilden, and that is the name of his father, but they had the wrong George Wilden. So my great grandfather, George Wilden, has a first cousin also named George Wilden, and it was that George Wilden and his wife who were listed as the parents of this baby instead of the baby's actual parents.
Oh, okay, so both the parents were wrong.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So I sent a message like you were showing, like
suggest edits.
Suggest edit. And I got a message back saying that it had been approved. But then when I looked at the memorial, it still had the wrong parents. So I don't know how or who to contact to say, how do we fix this? I mean, it was confusing to me that they said it had been approved and then it wasn't changed. But I also want to know who to email or how to contact someone to help me get it fixed.
So does it have the person that put it on?
I don't know. I don't know enough to know.
You know, like when I showed that grave, let's see, you know, and at the bottom it had the contributor.
Okay. I would have to go back and look.
Okay, let me see. Let's just search on, let me see. Let me do my best. Let's just we'll look at it and see. Okay, so yeah, it's interesting because when you send that, it should, so it was created, right, by this guy.
Oh, okay. So I'll look for that and then click on.
Yeah, let's click on his name. Let's click on his name first and see. And you can send him a message right there.
But I couldn't do that. I've noticed that on some of the FindAGrave memorials, there's a place to.
Oh, and
maybe what I was looking at is under suggest edits.
Oh, right, which I think that's good. First,
sometimes you can send a message in suggest edits, and sometimes you can't.
Okay.
So does that depend on the manager's preferences, or?
Yeah, I think it might. Yeah, because on you know, the notifications I showed you, I think it might depend on what they. Yeah, so you tried clicking on just the little link and it didn't come up with?
No, I didn't know about that, so I'm glad to know that. What I clicked on was suggest edits.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll see on your screen where it says suggest other corrections. There wasn't a place for that.
So like down, like here, other corrections?
Yeah, on some pages there are and some there aren't. And so I was like, how do I get hold of this person? I mean, is there like a FindAGrave head honcho that can answer your questions?
Well, you know, Dean, I was on with you earlier. You know, we went to that help, remember? Let me see. Yeah, that's a good question. We went to the help, and what was that question we searched for? And then it had a little contact us button on the bottom. What was that question?
Well, the question that I had was virtual, the one we talked about, virtual, sharing your virtual cemetery.
Oh, I mean, like when you first came on, do you remember? Was it a different?
Oh, when I first came on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, when I first came on, I had a question about, no, I can't remember. I'll think of it.
Okay, because I know, I remember either. But so we had, we put in that question, and then right below it, it said contact us. So I thought that was maybe easy to get to.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
I hadn't seen that either, so I thought, okay, well, that's good. But here, you would think there would be a head honcho. Well, let's see right here. If you have additional or correction for cemetery, you can send an email to that cemetery or post your suggestion on. I just know we'd search for something, and then there was, let's just search for virtual cemetery again. Because yeah, it came right to that contact us. I thought, okay, well, that's a good one. Is it below? Oh, right there. Yeah, so see how I contacted?
Oh,
Yeah. So I typed
okay.
in the question, and since I couldn't find it, that's what it was. And then the contact us. So that was tricky.
Okay.
So let's see if we click on that. What, okay, count question, update to memorial. Maybe that would, oh, and you know what? I'm really close to Lehigh. They're really close to where I live, where we live.
Oh, so I might just have to drive over there and say, hey.
I've got this problem.
Yeah.
So also, I think, Dean, you could ask your question too. It doesn't look like you can, and maybe that's something they might do in the future.
Yeah, I remember now. It was someone had taken a photo of my parents' grave, and I had requested to have it ownership given to me, but I did not get a response.
Right. You mean the memorial?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's another question.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of has an obvious answer, like you want to manage your parents' memorial, right? But
right.
Why do you want to? What are the what does that? Why do you want to manage a certain memorial?
Well, there's all kinds of details that I can add to it rather than having to submit it all the time.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, what would you add that's not already there? I mean,
I could add their parents. I could add
okay,
any number of things.
Yeah, I was going to show you on like my dad's. Yeah, I just noticed I haven't used this as much as I should. I use Family Search and that so much. But oh, and I had to ask the person, today to change the death place and the birthplace. So like you said, you wouldn't have to ask that.
This is your dad, and you had to ask.
Yeah. So I had to ask to change those, which it came right away. I was surprised it came really fast.
So if
and you know what, I was going to say one thing too. I think this was actually put on by the mortuary, so I think I should, have it.
Yeah, because
this actually has his obituary in it too. So I think that they're the ones that put it up. But one thing I was thinking is then if someone reaches out to you, they could be like a cousin or a relative also, so that would be a fun thing about it. Otherwise, you're not going to really know. But I don't know if it would be, I haven't done it, so I don't know if it would be a lot of emails. I don't know. Have you done it, Dean? Are you like in managers for some?
No, I'm not.
I just wondered if it's a big pain in any way, like like you have to, like if it's a lot of work or
like I said,
your own parents, you would want to do that. But how many more would you really want to?
Yeah, I think that's up to you. I guess. Well, and I guess what's happened, I think, because I don't know how long. Like this one's obviously not that long ago that my dad passed away. But, the ones where so many people went and put all the pictures, like a long time ago when they were doing the pictures and uploading them and adding them, then they probably just had to be the managers. And so I would think they would want to transfer them, Dean, when you're saying you can't get a
Yeah.
transfer. Because I was just,
Yeah.
what were you going to say?
I've seen managers that quit. You know, they got tired of answering all the mail and dealing with people, obnoxious relatives,
Oh,
and they just said, I'm not managing these anymore."
Okay, so that's a real thing, huh?
so do you know what
I've seen
happened to
it, yeah.
those? Do you know what happened to those?
I don't know. I didn't inquire. No.
That would be interesting to ask FindAGrave. Yeah, you might just have to go over there and
Or if the manager passes away, then what happens?
I know that's what my question was too. I'm not sure. You know, I mean, how does FindAGrave know?
Right. Maybe
So, but
because your own grave appears on FindAGrave, huh?
maybe that keeps track, you know, when their manager, like if their grave shows up, then. So yeah, those are good questions. I'll ask them. I think that would be.
So if you are the manager, then if someone else wants to make a change to your father's memorial, for example, then they have to get your permission to change.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Or your approval or whatever. Okay.
Yeah. Have you guys do you have other experiences with FindAGrave?
I use it a lot because you see a lot of hints, FindAGrave hints. It seems to be well connected to Family Search. So
Right.
when I'm research notes, I always see FindAGrave in there, and then I'll connect it. Sometimes if it's not connected in Family Search, I'll use Record Seek to create the citation.
Right. That's the best, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. A lot easier.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. I don't come here as much in search, but it is nice. I do like, you know, if I find someone on Family Search or something, it is nice to go and see the other memorials in that same cemetery. That could really help to find more ancestors that are right there if you don't have them.
Yeah.
Or possible babies that.
Right. Yeah, so I would think you could get that corrected. Anita, is it Anita?
Yeah, I hope so, because I kind of have this like love for him, you know.
For sure. So was there any other? I don't know why my chat went away. So anything else that you guys have?
Nothing else for me.
Okay.
I got a lot out of it though.
You did?
Different ways to search, and the idea about flowers, you know, leaving a flower, that really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you mean by that? I mean, it doesn't cost money to leave a flower, right?
No, yeah, you just, you know, I just go to flowers and then I can leave a flower. I left one. I could leave another one. Oh, I can only leave one flower per day.
One per day. Okay.
Okay.
We can do that every day. So what did you mean that it leaves a trail and that?
Oh, because then you'll just see that you've been there. You know, if you're looking, maybe you are on Family Search and like, oh, I'll go look at this grave because I can't remember things very well. And then you might be like, oh yeah, I've looked at this grave before because you've left a flower. Or, you know, you could.
Okay.
And also the one thing too that is that you might, you know, you might see another living ancestor. You might connect with not ancestor, well, maybe an ancestor, but you know, you might connect with a living cousin that way. So
right.
Yeah. So or else, you know, like I said, if you put it in a virtual cemetery, how many of you have done that? I haven't I was starting to do it and wondering.
I'd
No, I
never
haven't.
even heard of that, so
Yeah,
I'm
there's
glad to
some-
know.
Yeah, because some, like I thought it was interesting if you were really, if you loved, it would be nice to categorize. I've got a lot of ancestors that fought in the Civil War. They were mainly in the South, but it would be interesting to have them all together, and even like some people put
Right.
in different regiments, like the different ancestors that were fighting together. I mean, that would be an interesting
Yeah.
virtual cemetery.
Mhm.
So just some different ideas. I mean, there is so much to do. It's hard to do everything. So
Right.
but yeah, well, good. Well, I'm glad that I shared a few things I didn't know. That makes me happy.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, well, thank you. Are there any other questions? Or I wish the advertisements would go away.
Right. Well, I think they do for you if you are the manager.
Oh, no, I didn't
Did
know that.
I might not be understanding that correctly, but I think
Yeah.
it might be the case.
Oh, that would be nice. Seems like they should give you something if you're going to manage some of the
Right.
graves. Hey, we could ask that question. What should we
Yeah.
ask? Do ads? I really do like this help. I feel like it's good. Do ads go away if you are a manager? Might not even have the answer. We'll see. Oh, yep. You're right. Sponsoring a memorial page will if you sponsor it. I'm not
What
sure
does
if
sponsor mean?
here, let's look at that and see. Okay. Oh, I see. Sponsoring a memorial page will permanently remove the ads at a cost of $5 and allow the sponsor to add 10 additional photos. There you go.
Huh.
So,
Mhm.
but it would be just that memorial.
Right.
So sponsoring and managing are different or the same?
I think they're different. You're just sponsoring it. And I don't know if that means. Oh, so I guess it permanently removes them for everybody? Is that right?
Looking at that page, yeah. And a sponsor, of course, would be paying money, whereas the
Right.
manager is just volunteering their time.
Right. That's what I would think too. That's not that, I mean, $5, but Ancestry could make a lot of money if everybody sponsored that. So, yeah, so it says down here, the manager will receive an email about the sponsorship. Only one sponsorship can be processed at a time. Oh, and then if you don't want to use a credit card. So, okay. Yeah, so that's a nice, any questions that you have, I would come to this help.
Yeah. Show me again where that is.
Okay, just at the bottom of every page. And then it's nice when you ask a question, they have that contact us. So that's really good. But down here on the help, yeah, it's not very big, So.
Okay.
And I guess they do have forums. I didn't look into all that. So I guess this is just some more, questions.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, this has been, the site's been going for 25 years. So,
wow.
I should have. There's more things I didn't look at. These forums at the bottom. See if there's anything else down there that we missed. There's a store and the news. So that would be but the others are, the first four, what we, memorials, cemeteries, contribute, famous, and then help, and then just about, and then the news and the forum. Wonder what's at the store. Oh, you can get some cups and different things. And then Facebook. Here, let's see, what's the news? So maybe the news would be great. It would probably keep you up. Oh, get a flower for voters. So they do have, looks like their blog is, look, they do a couple times a month, looks like, something like that. So, all right. Well, if there are any other questions, thanks for coming. And oh, and let me see. Did you? I don't think I can. I don't know why my chat's not working. If you'd like, would you like to have the handout? It pretty much just goes through what I went through. It just kind of lists different tips. So.
Yeah, this will be posted. This will be available on YouTube or what?
Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel. I know. I was just trying to think. Why don't you?
And you'll have a link. You'll have a link to the document there.
I'll have it. I actually have a link on our Facebook page.
Okay.
At Linden Fountain. Did you get to this that way? Is that right?
I have the Facebook page, so I'll be able to find the document
Perfect.
there.
The file's there. Yeah. Okay. And then I'll just put. I'll put a link to the YouTube video if you want to watch that again. But okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Carol.
Have a good evening. You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
All right.
All right.
Okay. See you then.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome. Hope you get that worked out, Anita.
Oh, thank you. I do too. It's like kind of important to me now.
Yeah. Let me know if you
Okay.
I'd like to hear if if you have to go down there to Lehigh.
Right.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.